Hello, dear friends. Welcome to another session of Marvelous Designer. Here I am, Sajid Montazeri, and just stay tuned because we are going to explore lots of and beautiful techniques in this software in this session. So, in this part of training, we want to talk about modeling plated clothes. So, to get familiar with what we are going to learn in modeling, I search in Google for plated clothes. You can see different types of plated garments in the images. For example, this one is fully plated from the bodice down to the skirt, while another one only has pleats in the skirt area. For example, this one. The top part is made of two sections where in terms of stitching, one part is laid over the other. These types of dresses from the waist up are essentially two pieces. And with stitches overlapping each other, we can make these clothes. You can see such variations in many different models if you search. So here we have different types of images and different types of models of these women's dress. In this session, we plan to model one of these dress together, and there are a lot of them actually. Search and make sure to study several models before watching this tutorial, so you'll clearly understand the purpose of our modeling in this session. All right, let's go into the designing software. Marvelous Designer. For modeling pleats and wrinkles, we have two methods, a manual method and another one using the built-in tools. First, I'll explain the manual method so you'll get familiar with the principles that tailors use to create pleats in clothing. After that, we'll also use the tools to make the work easier. To start, I draw a rectangle here like this. Very good. So I draw it. And if I switched this rectangle into the 3D view, so I can see it better, and press the space keys, you'll notice it falls downward under the effect of gravity and lands on the ground. Pressing a space again stops the simulation here, like always. Now, if you need part of your pattern not to be affected by gravity, what should you do? You must freeze it. So I think we talked about that too in previous sessions. You must freeze it. So I can undo with Ctrl plus Z to return to the state before simulation. But if you've progressed through many steps and undo can't take you back to before simulation, there is a tool called Reset 2D Arrangement. If you select your pattern and then click this tool, actually it removes the simulation effect and returns it to the pre-simulated state. So that's the usage of this tool. All right, now let's say I want this object or pattern not to be influenced by gravity. I just select it here. So I can here select it and press Ctrl plus K to easily freeze it. So after selecting it, I can use Ctrl plus K to freeze it. When I press Ctrl plus K, you'll see the object changes color. Now, if I hit space again, this object will no longer be affected by gravity. So this feature is extremely useful when you either don't want certain objects to be simulated at all, or after simulation you don't want them to be influenced by gravity anymore. You just select them and hit Ctrl plus key and they will be frozen. Back in the 2D view, the rectangle I drew is quite large, so it's better to resize it now to avoid issue later. To resize its size, I double click the midpoint of this object, grab it from one corner and scale it down uh, like this. So at first I grab one corner, and I scale it like this. Very good. So let's go forward. Next, here I'll check the dimensions by clicking on one of the edges. For now, it looks fine for me. I select it because I want to divide the top and bottom segments into equal parts here. So one method is through the edit pattern tool, which is Z. The shortcut is Z. Select one of the segments, right click and choose split. So here I choose a split. This opens the split line window, which has three sections here, as you can see. The first section is splitting line. By default, it splits the chosen segment into two parts. You can enter either the length or the percentage. For example, if I enter 50 in the ratio field, it splits the segment into two equal halves with a point placed in between. So if I do that, uh, it splits the segment into two equal halves with a point placed in between. I can also specify exact length. For example, I can set it to 200 millimeter on the left and the rest, which is 295.1 millimeter, is calculated automatically for the right side. Together, they equal 495 millimeter, which was the total length of the segment. I can assign and again use percentage for line 2. Line 2 is shown in blue, line 1 in yellow. For example, I could assign 60% to line 2 and 40% in line 1. So I can do that. Like this. Very good. So that was a splitting line which divides the segment into two parts. Another mode is split by length. So here where you it's a place where you divide the segment based on length into as many parts as you need. So in the segment length field, for example, I enter 100, the total length is 495, so we can fit four 100 unit segments plus one leftover of 95.1. By default, the number of segments is 2. If I increase it to 3, I get three 100 unit parts, and the leftover, if I increase it to 5, I have four 100s and one leftover of 95.1. Now, if I try to increase the number further, it won't go beyond the maximum possible based on total length. So that's the way it is, as you can see. That's because we can't have six segments of 100 here. Now in the direction section, it asks you where the leftover part, which couldn't be evenly divided, should be placed. If you click reverse, the leftover goes from the left side to the right side. If it is on current, it stays as it is. And with reverse, it flips. If you click on center, the divisions are made symmetrically from the middle and the leftover part is distributed at the beginning and end. Usually in modeling, we use the third option, which is uniform split. In uniform split, you don't need to calculate an inch length yourself. You just set the number of segments and it divides the line into that many equal parts. For example, I set it to 3 here, and here I can, after setting it to 3, I can just press OK. All right. So I'll do the exact same process for the bottom segment. So here I can right click and split, set, and after set I can press OK. Very good. Now I can connect these points using internal lines. Select the tool, click and double click, click and double click. But if you have too many points, it doesn't make sense to manually connect them one by one. So here, what should I do? I'll press Ctrl plus Z and again Ctrl plus Z to undo. There is another method. Select this area. Consider the spacing here. It was exactly 165. Right click and choose offset. So after right click here, you can choose offset internal line. Very good. So this option offsets and creates copies, but the copies are considered internal lines and enter the spacing, in this case 165 as measured earlier. You can preview the number of lines. For example, at 1, you'll see 1. If you set it to 2, another appears here, and you can confirm it with OK. So these are the two methods you can use to add your internal lines. Now I'll select the entire section. After selecting, I can use Ctrl plus C and Ctrl plus V to place a copy below. Right here. Again, Control plus C and Control plus V for another copy and another one here again. And after that, I can select all of them and move them slightly to the left toward the center of the object. I'll close the library object browser and property editor panels for now to have a bigger workspace for myself. So I close all of them. Well done, very good. Now I can edit from here. So I'll connect every one, every other one to each other. Select, Shift, select, and right click. Merge. When you press merge, two patterns are stitched together. Select, Shift, select, and again merge. Very good. But here's what happens. When patterns are merged, the internal line disappears. To bring it back, you can redraw it yourself. Click and double click here. And again here. Click and double click. Very good. Now we move to sewing. I sew this part to this part. See, it folds and goes behind, and this section of my pattern is now double layered. It is clear in the preview. All right, thank you so much. That's enough for today. We will continue next session. Goodbye. Hello, dear friends, and let's continue our work. So we reached until this part. Now, if I saw this part to this one, my pattern becomes a triple layer. Then I can saw the common edges of this triple layer to another one, like this. This edge is sewn here, this one to here, and their shared edge to this one, then this edge to that one, and their shared edge to the other one. So here we have shared edge. Pay attention. Since my first object was frozen and I duplicated it, the copied ones were also frozen. To unfreeze them, you can simply select and press Ctrl plus K again. So that's easy, right? Now, if I press space, you'll see the wrinkles are easily modeled. I rotate around the model so you can see the plates more clearly. So here I rotate. Here you can see there's wrinkles. This is exactly how wrinkles are created in real tailoring, and you fold the fabric on one side, stitch the fold together, and then connect the same line to the upper part. That's exactly what we just did. So far, so good. So pressing space stops the simulation as always, and I check the plates again. You see how nicely they formed. So the break you see here is actually due to particle distance, which is there is no problem, which later we can lower to get higher quality renders. Back to 2D view. Here I can select this part, and so if I select this part, hold Shift and also select the internal line, and use a transform pattern to shorten them a bit. And I can double click to select, then reduce their length. Notice now the internal lines are not connected to the main pattern, so they are not connected. If you want them connected, just right click and choose extend. So after this, if you want to connect them again, you can choose them and right click and actually select them and right click and choose extend trim to pattern outline. What does it mean? If an internal line is longer than the pattern, it trims the extra part. If it is shorter, it extends it to reach the pattern boundary. So that's the meaning of this tool. So undo with Control plus Z. Suppose this one on the right was longer. Here you can select it, right click, and choose Extend Trim to Pattern. outline here. Very good. The longer one gets, the shorter one gets extended, so both connect to the main pattern. Now let's copy. So I select this internal line, Control plus C and Control plus V here. And here I can place it here again, Control plus C, Control plus V, another one here. Select and right click. Let's compare the two options, extend and trim to pattern outline vs extend trim and add point to pattern outline. So if I move the first one without add point, you'll see no new vertex created. But if I move the second one with add point, you'll notice that when trimming or extending, it also created a vertex at the intersection. So that's the difference, and we just compared them. So here, this point is extremely important, so pay attention to that. Now I'll delete both, delete these, and clear this whole set as well after that. So I delete all of them. There we go. And here, let's test the same idea with copies. So here I can just right click and offset internal line. So here I can choose it, offset internal line. And the spacing is 165 and count is 2. First, okay. Internal lines are copied here, but if I move them, you'll see no points exist at the intersection. Now you probably understand why earlier, before using offset, I first created points with the tool and then copied them. So because of that. Delete, and let's repeat the process again. So here I can right click, split, set to 3, and do the same here. So I press OK. And again, here right click, split, uniform, split 3, then again, right click, offset, this time, offset internal line, set to 2. And at the end, okay, very good. Now we have both internal lines and intersection points, which greatly help in our modeling. That was one manual method for modeling plates and wrinkles, but as I mentioned before, there are also two built-in tools for plates fold, and the other is the plates sewing. And I'll select the objects I've drawn, and here I can delete them. I can delete them. And again, I'll draw another rectangle here. I select the top segment. After drawing, I can, so after it is complete, I can select the top segment. Right click, split, and set the number of divisions to, let's say 20, and press OK. For the bottom segment, I'll also do the same, split 20 divisions, and OK. I need to align them in the view, in the window, sorry, so I can see them. I click on one of the segments. Its length is 77.5, so I just select this one. Right click, offset as internal line. And here, I choose it. Enter set the number to less than the number of segments, that is 19, and okay. Now if I want to create plates manually, I'd have to select them one by one and use the fold tool. We've already learned about that. For example, it's this fold angle to 0, the next one to 360, and so one goes inward, one outward, and so on until the end. 0, then 360, then 0, then 360. But of course, this is very time consuming. I've done just a few as sample. So now I want to test it. Here I can't freeze it because simulation won't work on the frozen part. So let's get to know a new tool, which is pin box. If you activate the pin box, you can see the mesh of your pattern. Click and drag over this area. Click and drag over this area, for example. You now have pinned section here. which are fixed. If you want to unpin part of it, right click and just easily delete a selected pin. To delete, here I can choose it. To delete all pins at once, you can right click again and just delete all pins or press Ctrl plus W. Mhm. So I've pinned these two areas. I've also added fold angles here to get better results. It's good to increase fold strength. I'll set this one to 100, this one to 100, and so on. So here I just set them to 100 and other ones too. Now, if I press space, you'll see that with folds, the simulation creates uh, plates like this. One with fold angle 0, the next with 360, and alternating all the way. All right. So far, so good. This is one way of modeling plates, and here I can just undo with Ctrl plus Z to go back. So as I told you, I undo with the shortcut of Ctrl plus Z. And here I want to go back. Very good. I'll pin again with pin box. So here I can uh, activate pin box and I can pin in different places. For example, so here I activated, so I can pin here, in here, very good, right here. And now I choose the plates fold tool, click, drag, and double click at the last polygon. So here I can do that. So after that, a window appears with three plate fold. And the first one is knife plate, forward and backward, box plate, as you see in the figure, and accordion plate, like an accordion. The shape is very clear actually for you. So here we have different types of plate fold, as you can see. All right, you can choose any of these. Here you can set the number of internal lines per plate. Uh, And what do these numbers mean? That's the question that you might ask. For example, if you set 2 or 3, it marks your plate with two colors. Red outside fold and blue is inside fold. And alternating red, blue. And here, if I set it to 2, you'll see one red, one blue, all the way. All right. In the fold angle field, it specifies red equals 0, blue equals 360. You can change it. So if you want to change it here, we have different numbers. For example, 30, 330, or 60, 300. And so you can change it to different numbers. If set to 2, it alternates red, blue. If set to 3, one is 0, the next one is 360. The third has no fold, which is 180, then repeats. If you don't want these preset angles, you can change the numbers. For example, set it to 45. So I'll set it to 2 and keep 0, 360. And here at the end, I can press OK. Then press space for simulation. Now you can clearly see the pleats formed. Press space again to stop the simulation. The pleats are obvious here. All right, thank you so much. I think that's enough for today. We will continue next session. Like always, try to practice a lot and goodbye. Hello, dear friends. Welcome to another session of Marvelous Designer. I'm Sajid Montazeri, and without further ado, let's continue our work. So you can also right click here the model, and choose strengthen or press Ctrl plus H. And this gives the fabric more firmness. Now, if I press space again after simulation, the plates look stiffer and don't collapse into each other as much. And so now we've also learned strengthen and its opposite, which is unstrengthen. You can also select the pins, move them slightly back, and press space again to add even more plate depth. This method can be very, very useful for things like curtains, where you might need plates in both horizontal and vertical directions. So the things that we created here is just like a kind of a fabric or a kind of curtain, as you can see here. So here we have different types of plates, and it's pretty interesting if you use it in your projects too. Right? So far so good, and let's continue. So here, the next option we can use for plate modeling is actually a new option, which is plates sewing. So here, before that, I'll open a new file here. So click here, and I don't need to save this one. And in this new file, I'll draw a rectangle here. And also after this rectangle, I can draw a larger one below this one. Actually, because I want the wrinkles to show exactly as they are, using what we learned in this session. So here I have another one, and I'll set this selection to 3 and click OK. Uh, and for the bottom edge, I right click split and set these to 3 as well and confirm it. I check and see this side measure 405.1. I select it, right click, offset as internal line, set it to 405.1, number of divisions 2, and click OK here. In the previous exercise, if you remember, we copied 3 of these, then merged their boundaries. And this time I don't want to do that. I want everything done on a single separate rectangle. Look, I've set the count to 3. The number of splits on the bottom must be a multiple of 3. For example, 3 to 3 or 4 to 3 equals 12 can fit. Right click, split. So here I can right click and choose split. I multiply by 3, so 3 to 3 is 9, and set the number of splits here to 9. Again, split here 9. Now you probably understand why I'm doing this. I want the first 3 to be stitched like this, the next 3 like this, and the last 3 like this. Very good. So I measure this part is around 366. I select it, right click, offset as internal line, set it to 366 and number 8, and I can press OK after that. And I select the top part and press Ctrl plus K to freeze it. Now using the tool we've learned here called free sewing, actually I click on the start and end of the lower segment and tell the software this whole part must connect to this whole part. Very good. So as you see from the sewing lines, the matching colors are connected. This one is sewn to this one, and this purple one connects here. And these 3 are all connected with this blue line to this part. For the next 3, same thing. This to this, this one to this to this, and also from these 3, this one connects to this one. Finally, this connects here, this one to this, and their shared boundary with the green line connects to the other one. And if I press space, we can also perform wrinkle modeling here. As you can see, we can have this modeling. Anywhere you see the wrinkles struggling, you can help it manually and remodel the wrinkles a bit. So if you see any issue, any problem, you can uh, manually fix it like this. All right, so I think it's so beautiful. And here the wrinkle calculations are heavy for the software. So while it's modeling, you either need to give it more time or shift your pattern around so it can simulate the wrinkles better for you. So here, pay attention. It must be a little bit time consuming and a little bit annoying because sometimes you should wait a little bit, but you can shift your pattern around so it can simulate the wrinkles better. So there are some solutions too, but I recommend be patient, right? Very good. So this section is almost okay, and this section has no issue either. So here we have the introduction of these two tools. One is pleats fold and pleats sewing, what we just examined. If you want more detailed results, you can reduce the number of particles, but of course the simulation will take much longer. Now with these basics learned, we can start a new project and model together. So here I can choose file, uh, new, no need to save this one. So here to begin, I'll place an avatar here. Uh-huh. So I don't need this panel anymore. So I can minimize it, same with the right panel for now. I zoom in to a suitable area of the 2D pattern space and begin. All right, so here I can zoom in, as you can see, and I can start and beginning creating this model from this polygon. So here I can click, and click here. Very good. Click again. I want to shape the whole upper part of the body. And here I can select it and Control plus C. Copy it to mirror it on the left. I can right click the pattern, select symmetric pattern, hold shift and place it at the right uh, distance. Like this, I can place it here. Now I can edit this garment using the edit curve tool, which is a shortcut of C. Since we used symmetric patterning, any change on the right happens on the left too. So pay attention. Any change you uh, create will happen on the left side too. I can adjust these points slightly right or left. So here I can adjust this part, make it a little bit shorter. So you can find out different things of this shape uh by checking different angles and make it okay. So here, no serious issues for now. We'll edit any serious issues or any problems later if needed. Next, I copy one of these. So Control plus C, Control plus V as always for the back of the garment. And right click symmetric pattern. Hold shift and place it. And I select both and move them near the front pattern for easier access. All right. Then I position them properly. First aligning front. Then send them to the back. Very good. So if I turn off a thickness view, you can see front and back clearly. For this one, it's flipped, so I right click, Control plus G, flip horizontally. So here I choose flip horizontally. It flips and the orientation is corrected. Now I move them closer to the object, and that's fine, I think. And next, we can do the sewing using the segment sewing tool. I connect the front parts together, then the back parts like this. I can also connect this part to its corresponding part here, and this one as well, maybe. So here, this one as well, I can connect it. So you need to be a little bit patient and focused. If you have trouble selecting, use the blue points. And for example, this one to this one. Very good. And this side to that side. Uh, Check around the model to make sure nothing is sewn inside the avatar's body. If so, fix it now without waiting. Press space for simulation here. It works perfect and uh, perfectly and just as we want it, right? Now we can apply more edits. First, I adjust the lower points slightly, bringing the garment closer under the uh, bust area. Since I want to add a belt there, so I do that because I want to add a belt. That part, press space again to simulate. Uh, then I draw a rectangle, another rectangle here for the belt. Very good. Save the file as a ZP. Overwrite. So I save it, and uh, after that I overwrite it. Very good. If we hadn't learned the split tool today, we would have had to use free sewing to attach this belt to the front and back, and that was so hard. But now with the split, it's easier. Select it, right click and click, split into two, and do the same with the bottom edge too. Here I choose this. Very good, and okay. Okay, now I can say this part sews here, this part sews here, and as you see, perfectly corrected. For the back, I can again choose it, Control plus C, Control plus V again, place it and sew this here and this one there, and connect the sides. Very good. So here you can connect the sides. And I think that's enough for today. We will continue next session. So here again connecting the sides, but we will continue next session. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Hello, dear friends. So last session, if you remember, we were talking about this belt and we were adjusting its position. So as you can see, I can adjust its position in the front and back like this. And here, right click, flip horizontally and check it. I think it looks fine. Press space for simulation after checking. So here I check different angles and press space. And now we've added the belt beneath the garment's body. Very good. Excellent. And here we have it. Now, if we want to open up the chest area of this avatar, it's very simple. I can select one of these points. And see, this point is connected here from the left and here from the bottom. If I right click this point and choose delete point, or just simply delete, press delete key on the keyboard, you can see that these two parts separate easily. Very good. I press space to simulate, and you can see the garment now slips easily over the avatar, and I press Ctrl Z to undo here. To prevent this from happening and to control how much the fabric slides on the avatar, we can go into the fabric settings under the details subset. So here there is an option called friction. By default, it is set to 3. You can increase this friction value to 60 or even 70%. So here that increases the grip and reduces sliding between the fabric and the avatar's body. Now, if we press space, you'll see the garment slips less. And with a bit of manual adjustment using this tool, you can help the software model the garment properly. If this method doesn't solve your issue as you'd like, you'll either need to increase the particle distance or enlarge the garment. How do we enlarge it actually? So that's a question. So simply select one of these points and move it several steps left or Right. So in this way, we can enlarge it. Then select the shared point and border and move them rightward. This essentially brings the pieces closer together. So here you can do this, press space, and now the issue in this section is somewhat improved. We can make similar edits to the upper part of the garment. Oh, very good. For example, select this point here and move it slightly to the right and press so here and press space. You may need to repeat this several times until the garment covers the volume of the avatar's chest as you want. So again, it's based on your design. Again, select here and bring them closer together. Also here I can bring it closer together. We can also make these a bit smaller. So here press space. Now it's almost fine, I think. Just mm, so here I think it's almost fine. Just adjust this part at this angle again. Bring it and close it together. Test it. Also, I check different angles. Again, for example, I think this part needs to go inward like this. Mhm. And we can also move this part slightly inward. So again, do the same action as I told you. So far, so great. Now I can select this whole set, move it upward a little, and also I can lower the points here slightly. All right. Next, we want to make the seams overlap, meaning I want this part of the garment to come here, and this other part seam to overlap on the belt and extend leftward. For this, we use the edit sewing tool. And here, select this model point. It asks whether you want to adjust the red or the orange part. It doesn't matter, pick one, pay attention to a numeric value shown nearby. Increase it, for example, at to about 185. Do the same for the other middle point, since it's shared for both of them. So again, here, increase the value for both of them. Very good. So I select the sewing line and also adjust it to around, let's say 185. Press a space and you can clearly see the two overlaps. So here again, I press space and adjust this part. As you can see, I can uh, make some changes like before. And here we can see the overlap part. Mhm. Now here to control which part goes over which, notice there is a bit of disorder here, as you can see. So here we have a problem, so we should fix it. And we learn something new. So what is it? So at first you should select one of these pieces in the particle property section we studied earlier. There is an option called layer on the right side of the avatar, and this piece is set to layer 0 and this other one also layer 0. Remember, the part of the garment that should stick to the avatar must always stay at layer 0. But if I want, for example, this pattern piece to not stick to the avatar and instead sit on top of the other one, I just set it to layer 1. A message appears here telling me that from now on, it will be outlined in blue. I click OK, press the space. Now you can clearly see it's layered on top of the other one. So here we could solve this problem. If we wanted the opposite, we'd select the other piece, set it to layer 1, and set this one back to 0. And press the space. You'll see the layering reversed here. At this stage, I can also select the entire garment and I can double click here, double click the center and slightly scale it along this axis. So here I can scale it along this axis. And here again, press space, and now it has a smoother, better surface, as you can see. Very good. Next, we need to bring the points closer together. Mhm. Like this, I can bring them to closer together. And also here in the same way. All right, so again, check it. Press the space, good. And that's exactly what we needed. Adjust this part slightly too, and I think it looks fine. That's great. Thank you so much. That's enough for today. We'll continue next session. Goodbye. Hello to all of you creative minds. So if you remember last session, we did something about these parts. Now let's design a skirt. For this avatar, I press Ctrl plus S to save. And using what we've learned, I draw a rectangle here. Mhm. So select the upper edge, right click, a split, and increase the numbers so we can have many plates. For example, 20, and click OK here. Now, before I go down and apply the split operation, since I want the bottom of this skirt to be a bit wider, I can select this point and move it left 5 steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here again, I right click and set split to 20. Mhm. Now notice if I try to draw the internal lines one by one, it will be very time consuming. I'd have to click here, double click below and repeat that 19 times. If instead I use what we learned earlier, for example, select this right click, offset as internal line and define the spacing. So here it won't work properly. So that's a problem. It gets messy and doesn't give us what we need here. So for this, we'll learn a new tool. Simply click this, hold shift, click the other one, and here, click the other one and right click. And instead of offset as internal line, choose the option just below it, offset as internal. So here I choose this option. Very good. Click it, set the number to 19, and after setting the number to 19, just confirm it. First, uh, okay. Now you see the internal lines are created perfectly in place, as you can see. Very good. So everything is fine. From here, we can use the tools we learned the other sessions. Like, for example, the fold option. To add plates, set them alternately to 0 and 360, and that's fine here. Now we can also saw, since the number of segments isn't equal here, we must use free sewing and instead of segment sewing and but before that it's better to copy the skirt and prepare it for the back as well. So Control plus C, Control plus V, and then in the 3D view I just did place it exactly opposite this object and move it to the back. Right click here. After that, you can right click and flip horizontally. Choose this option, flip horizontally. Mhm. Here, very good. And bring it a little closer to the avatar's body. I can also bring the front part closer to the avatar. Uh, so I just select this one and bring it closer to the avatar. Now I select free sewing, click, hold shift, and then click and click again. Repeat that several times. Click, hold shift, click. Very good. The sewing is done here after this. And check that it's correct. Then I can also sew the sides together. For this part, I can um, use the regular segment sewing tool. Connect this to this one. And this part to this part. Very good. Check the garment. If the sewing pulls into the avatar's body, I can select these two and move them slightly away from the avatar. If you want a wider skirt, double click the center line and increase the width. Then you can double click and increase the width. Then adjust its placement in 3D window. All right, like this. So press space to simulate and refine. If you see the plates still look too cramped for the number we defined, press Ctrl plus Z, increase the width further, and here Ctrl plus Z, increase it like this. Very good. And again, it's based on your design. Pay attention. Place them again and press space. Now here you see it's fixed uh, properly and it's better, I think. Very good. At this point, the upper garment has already been simulated and doesn't need to be recalculated each time. So here, the thing that I can do is select it all and press Ctrl plus K to freeze it. Then press space again so the simulation only continues for the skirt. If you want a longer skirt, on the other hand, you can simply select the bottom points and again move them downward several steps. Like this, you can move them downward. Or hold shift and drag them straight down along a vertical axis. So here, after that, I can press space to simulate. Very good. Another thing we can do here is that we can sew only half of one side. For example, click here and sew this line only halfway down. And so here only halfway down. And also you can do the same for the other side. Press space after that. Mhm. Now, if I change the avatar's pose, you'll see this adjustment more clearly. For example, I can unfreeze this part by pressing Ctrl plus K, apply another pose. And here I can have this pose and I can apply different types of pose. And after that, I can unfreeze this part by pressing Ctrl plus K and apply another type of pose. And here, confirm it. And sometimes during simulation, the garments shift around, but you can fix it with simple click and drag adjustment. So don't worry about that. So if you see some uh, distortion, you can just fix it after the simulation. For example, here you can press space and again drag these parts until it forms as you like. So you'll notice the slit we created on the left side of the avatar is now clearly visible. All right, I returned the avatar to the default pose. I temporarily close this panel, stop the simulation, and press Ctrl plus S to save the model. So I close this part and Ctrl plus S to save it. Very good. Now you can apply textures to the garment. For example, I'll add a new texture currently, and so the same texture is applied across all pieces. I drag and drop this new texture onto each part as I like. For example, here and here, and the rest of the bodies, and finally onto the skirt. Now in fabric one setting, which is for the skirt, I can go to texture section and assign a suitable texture here. Let's say, for example, I choose this one maybe. Very good. I have it on my skirt. And for fabric too, we can either use a solid color or apply another texture. Here I'll use a color instead and give it this garment a shade like this, for example. This is suitable for my garment. And you can even add another fabric slot and treat a separate part like the belt and its own piece. Mhm. So here you can assign another color and shade for the belt, as you can see. Then assign it a different color, as you saw. For example, I changed the belt's color to this one. And I check the color in different angles if it suits the body or not. From here, you can get creative, make edits, and adjust things as you like. Again, it depends on you. So you can also convert edges into curves. I'll do that for the upper section. Bring these points closer together, press space, and simulate. So this gives the upper garment a slightly fuller coverage, but keep in mind this style of garment isn't supposed to have an underlayer by default. If we were using a different avatar, the look at the front might not have been so distracting. All right, so here I press a Control plus A S again, then File. Uh-huh. I press File. Click File, Save as. This time naming it P D02 because I want to create a different skirt style right here. So I save it as this name. And I press Shift plus T in the 2D workspace to hide texture. From here, I can shorten the skirt so it rises higher. And here, I select the points, hold shift, move them upward and press space. This gives me another skirt variation. You can create many skirt types this way. All right, so I have it. Again, as we explained before, you can also change the seam lines. Very good. So you can change the seam lines. For instance, I raise this part a little higher, maybe. So I make it higher. Press the space, and now this part is separate with the seam line higher than before. So here I can make some changes. Or I can delete the skirt entirely. That's another option. Select and delete here. Very good. Select and delete here. Hmm. When you delete the pieces, their sewing lines are also removed automatically, as you can see. Now I'll design a different skirt model and we will continue for designing a new one next session. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself and practice a lot. Hello, dear friends. Welcome to our next session. If you remember, we talked about new skirts. So here I model a new skirt. For this, I draw a rectangle and I select the top edge and right click split and set it to 3. And also I can do the same for the bottom edge, split and 3 again. Very good. So far so good. Next I draw another rectangle below it for its top edge. Again right click and here split and set it to a multiple of 3. For example, I can choose 9 and here okay, and do the same for the bottom edge. Again right click, split, uniform, and number 9 here. Very good. I measure this edge, it's 74.4. Right click, offset as internal line, set distance to 74.4 and number to uh, 8 here, so I choose 8 and okay. Now I want this surface folded and attached to the upper surface actually. For that I use the tool we discussed earlier, click and click here and here, then click and click again. The tool automatically folds them 3 by 3 and attaches them to the top exactly. Press a space at first So here the piece drops under gravity. To prevent that, I select it and press Ctrl plus K to freeze. And here again, press the space to simulate. As you can see, I can have the simulation. I help it a little to settle, and now I think it's fine. Very good. I think it's fine. Next, I want to duplicate this around the model. Before doing that, I'll increase the skirt's height, select the bottom point, and move them downward, for example, several steps. Now I select the whole piece, also the bottom edge, Control plus C, Control plus V, hold Shift, and place it here. Place it there. Very good. Move it and rotate it slightly and bring it near the avatar. Here, for example, place it in a suitable place. Very good, right here. And again, Control plus C, Control plus V, hold Shift and place it here. So I have it. Be careful not to flip the direction accidentally, so you need to apply a flip later. So pay attention to this. And again, I rotate it a bit, make some adjustments, and place it in the back part of my avatar, around the eye. Position it like this one more time, Control plus C, Control plus V again. And again, you can have this one in the 3D mode. And again, move it and place it in the right position. Near the back part again. Here. Very good. Rotate it to sit behind the avatar and bring it closer. Very good. So again, it's a matter of precision, and also it's a little bit time consuming, but the more you do these things, the more you are going to get used to it. So should rotate it again, this one, and bring it near the avatar. For example, this part, and I put it exactly in this place. I can also add the final section. Again, Control plus C, Control plus V. So another part, like the other ones that we did. Again, rotate it. And bring it to the right part of the avatar. Place it here. Very good. Check the position of each uh, part. See if they are seated correctly, placed correctly or not. Very good. Now, some of these pieces might be a little messy in their placement. We'll adjust them too. Again, it's a little bit boring, maybe, but you should get used to it. All right, so as I told you, some of these pieces might be a little messy and not neat, and you should adjust them together. Take your time and modeling to get the output exactly how you want. Very good. And since we worked step by step, it's now easy to identify any object with problems and you can easily fix it. I think now it looks okay. Next, we can saw these pieces together. And here I'll start from this section. At this stage, we don't need freezing enabled. I can temporarily select all of them and press Ctrl plus K to unfreeze. If some pieces don't unfreeze, select them individually and you can just press Ctrl plus K again for each one. The frozen ones can be recognized by their pale blue tint. Now let's saw and this one to this one, for example. and again start the process of stitching. For example, this one to this one. Again, this one to this one, and so on. The similar work should be done here. So I stitch these parts together. So far, so good. I check. All right. I'll close some panels here for more space. It's better to uh, so here again I press the space and see how the skirt falls. Right now the skirt is flared. I intentionally didn't attach it to the upper belt because I want the natural bulge from waist downward. It prevents slipping on the model. I press Ctrl plus Z, select the whole set and enlarge it lengthwise so I can control it better. Switch to 3D view and lift it slightly upward. So here I can switch to the 3D view again. Here I can lift it upward to allow simulation space, then back in 2D. Double click the point and reduce it slightly in width. Very good, like this. Press space, and this step requires some trial and error to get the waist size you want. So you should try again and again until you get your desired design. So again here with some click and drag help, it takes a proper shape. Now it's nearly fine. Just tighten it slightly more lengthwise and we'll be right where we want. Again, by click and dragging, you can help the software to create your desired model. So here we have it. Right. So you can also saw the side edges together. Click here and there and saw, So you can click them, these parts here and here. Saw these together. We haven't introduced new tools here. It's just a review of what we learned earlier. So this is teaching is about the things that we learned earlier. You are familiar with all of these things. So again, I check the skirt if it has some problems or not. So the skirt isn't attached to the upper belt, though you could connect it if you wanted. I avoided it intentionally to teach this new technique, as I told you. And if you want, you can reposition things so the seam opening isn't visible, or simply stitch the first and last parts together and to remove the opening. All right. Press space again for simulation now. You can also adjust the uh, skirt length. So I can adjust the skirt length. So here I can select and move these points maybe downward, several steps, like this. Very good. So press space. Done. That's done. This is close to what we wanted, I think. Here. That's great. So again, I check different parts if we have some problems or not. If you change the avatar's pose, you'll get an even better view. And if you don't want the blue layer outlines showing, after simulation, you can uh, just reset the layer back to 0. So then it won't display anymore for you. Just like before, you can apply fabric choices. For example, reapply the floral texture to the skirt. And here I select and check what fabric it's using. If needed, I can delete the extra parts and open the settings again. So don't worry about that. For instance, I think we can keep the red piece as it is, and for this section, assign a specific texture. Or I can choose a color here. For example, like a softer pale color like this. Uh, Very good. If the color doesn't apply, it means the piece is still frozen. So press Ctrl plus K again to unfreeze. Then reapply the color. So here we apply the color like this. Very good. Now I have the color they chosen. Once simulation runs and everything looks fine and okay, I can change this pieces layer from a 1 back to 0. At this point, you should no longer press space for simulation, or if you do, stop it because it will distort the front part of your garment. Look here where the layer is set to 1, run the simulation once so the pieces display correctly in front of each other. After your simulation is complete, you can then reset the layer back to 0, but don't simulate again afterward. Otherwise, the garment will break apart. So pay attention. If you want to change the fabric texture because it looks too repetitive, we've already learned the edit texture tool. For example, I can select this skirt section and shift the texture slightly upward or downward. Spend a little time adjusting only the parts that show up in the render. You don't need to fix every section. By doing this, the repeated pattern disappears and no longer looks like the default tilt. All right, that is the end of this session. I hope you've enjoyed this training session. And from here, you can use your creativity. For example, add wrinkles to the upper garment or combine different tools we've learned to design entirely new models. Thank you so much. Practice a lot and goodbye.